Mr. Zulkarnain Abdurrahim.
Mr. Speaker, may I take PQs 14 through 16 together, please? Thank you,
Yes,
sir.
please.
MSF's Child Protective Service, CPS, investigates cases involving serious abuse or neglect of children and young persons in accordance with the statutory framework set out under the Children and Young Persons Act, CYPA. The threshold for CPS to exercise various powers under the Act is predicated on whether there are reasonable grounds to believe that a child or a young person is in need of care or protection. The fact that a child is not attending school is not, by itself, sufficient grounds to invoke CYPA powers. This is because non-attendance could be due to many other reasons. To determine if a case meets the legal threshold under the CYPA, CPS will gather information from the child, family, and professionals via phone or video calls. If the assessment is that there is immediate or serious safety concerns for the child, or when parents or caregivers are uncooperative, CPS will conduct an in-person assessment of the child and the family. CPS may also order a child to undergo assessments, examinations or treatments, or remove the child and commit him or her to a place of temporary care and protection or to the care of a fit person. CPS must balance multiple conflicting interests when determining what is best for a child. CPS is careful in exercising its powers and will only remove a child if it is not possible to keep the child safe within his or her family. For less serious cases, CPS will refer the child and family to a Child Protection Specialist Center, Protection Specialist Center, or a Family Service Center for follow-up intervention as necessary. The nature of child abuse is that it is often not easy to detect. The professionals in CPS and the social service agencies work hard to intervene to prevent further harm, and the fate of every single life matters. Despite their efforts and that of others at the various touch points that children come into contact with, however, it is not possible to expect that every single case will be detected. I hope members of this House can support the difficult work that they do in your communities and to rally your residents to play their part too. Residents can support the Break the Silence campaign and attend domestic violence awareness training. Through this, members of the public are educated on potential signs of child abuse or neglect. Everyone can benefit from such knowledge, whether as a neighbor, a community volunteer, or a grassroots leader. Those who see such potential signs are encouraged to report their concerns to the National Anti-Violence and Sexual Harassment NAVH helpline at 1-800-777-0000. We are also educating our children on this difficult topic of abuse in an age-appropriate manner. Preschoolers are taught how to talk about their feelings and seek help from trusted adults when they feel unsafe or hurt. In schools, students learn about personal safety and safeguarding themselves against abuse through the character and citizenship education lessons. They also learn help-seeking skills, including the signal for help hand gesture, which is this. And they are shown the community resources and helplines for them to turn to when their safety is compromised. They are also encouraged to look out for their peers and to seek help for those who display these signs of distress.
Mr. Zulkarnain Abdurrahim.
Thank you, Speaker. I recounted the incident of an 11-year-old girl who passed away at the hands of the stepfather, and it affected me because same age as my daughter. The intervention of CPS, and I appreciate the good work of CPS on the ground, having been volunteering with one of the crisis shelters dealing with domestic violence. I know the workload of CPS, but in this particular instance, the intervention by CPS could have been earlier, had the October interview been in person. or at home or in a police station. The fatal incident happened just the next month in November. I understand that investigations are still ongoing, but would MSF review what could have been done better, perhaps borrowing or learning lessons from other jurisdictions by using same-age peer befrienders or even protection of liability for anonymous reporting by educators in a suspected abuse case. Perhaps this would avert such a tragic incident from happening again. Thank you.
Mr. Speaker, I thank the member for his SQ. As the case is currently, investigations are still ongoing, we can't comment on the specific details, but I do agree on the need for us to work harder collectively to make sure that the NAVH helplines, other sources of assistance are really made known to those who might be in need of such assistance. And just for that matter, just in December last year, MSF actually launched an online text-based channel that's accessible via the MSF website as an additional mode of reporting for the NAVH to make it easier. And also we find that youngsters nowadays, they very much prefer the textual, online textual, anonymous kind of platform that allows them to bring to attention some of the plight and situations they're in. So while I can't comment on the specifics, I think we can call upon everyone in the House and beyond to really do more to raise awareness on this issue. Thank you.
Mr. Jarogam.
I thank the SPS for its answers. Are there some specific conditions in which the CPS will forcibly enter homes to check on the well-being of children whom they suspect of being abused? Were there any instances in the past 5 years where these conditions were met, but the CPS did not do so? And if so, what has MSF done to ensure that such protocols are adhered to in future? Thank you.
Mr. Speaker, I thank the member for his SQ. At the point of case being referred to the CPS, we will perform an intake assessment. And at this point, we will actually make sure, when we do the assessment, we will make sure that we'll check out for any signs of immediate safety concerns for the child, or whether the parents or caregivers are actually cooperative at a particular stage of investigations. And if we find that there are instances where the child's safety is immediately found to be at risk, or if the parents are uncooperative such that the CPS officers don't get to cite the child, then the CPS officer has every right to move on to the next phase to conduct an in-person assessment, so to bring it to the next phase. But specific to Mr. Jarogam's question on whether these examples, there were examples of such cases in the past 5 years, I would encourage him to file a separate PQ on this if you would like to ask for the specific statistics, because I don't have them at the moment. But again, rest assured that the CPS officers, given their procedures, have worked in the ability for us to step in that if there's a need, if there's an assessed need for us to do so.